Good afternoon. I'm Rob Johnson, CEO of the Billiard Congress of America. And while I wish we were all in Las Vegas today getting ready for the 2020 BCA Expo, we all know that's not possible. And first and foremost, I want to wish all the families and individuals on this call good health during this terrible pandemic. Thank you for joining us today for the Business of Billiards webinar series, sponsored by Legacy Billiards, and for participating in our BCA Virtual Expo. Please enjoy today's seminar and make sure to visit our participating exhibitors' virtual pages to learn more about their products and special pricing during the BCA Virtual Expo. There are also many features on the BCA Virtual app to make this a great experience. So if you haven't already, please make sure you download the BCA Virtual app and start looking around on there, and you'll learn a lot of places that you can go and a lot of things that you can do on this virtual app. It's a good time. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a couple housekeeping items. Number one, you'll be muted throughout this presentation. So if you have a question, please type it in the chat box and at any time. In the chat box, just to make it easy for you, if you remember the cartoon character above their head, there's a little bubble. It's the same thing on GoToMeeting. So you'll see a little bubble. And in that area, you can type your question. And at the end of the session, the seminar speaker will answer the questions in the order that they're received. We also want you to know that we're recording today's seminar, and we will post it in the exact same spot that you went to today to watch this seminar, and we'll be taping the rest of the week's sessions, recording them, and we'll post them also. We also want you to know that you can still have your employees register for this virtual expo even today. All they have to do is go to bcaexpo.com and register for the virtual expo. At the end of today's session, we'll have a one-question survey, so please hold on for a minute and answer the survey before you log off. Now I'd like to introduce today's seminar speaker, Lynn Switnowski. As many of you know, Lynn's a regular speaker with the Billiard Congress of America. She brings more than 20 years experience with Fortune 500 companies, including Liz Claiborne, Aramark, and Reebok. And today she's going to be discussing ways to take advantage of the stay-at-home entertainment trend. Now, before we get started, I'd like to present to you a brief message from our webinar series sponsor, Legacy Billiards, and a special thank you on behalf of the Billiard Congress of America to Legacy Billiards for sponsoring this webinar series. So right now we'll play the video and we'll turn it over to Lynn for her special. Thank you.
98.6. We realize in today's world, this number has taken on a more important meaning, like the ideal body temperature of a person walking into your store. However, it has a different meaning for Legacy Billiards. 98.6 is the percentage of in-stock product Legacy Billiards has available for our dealers for the last 18 months. What does this mean for you? It means your salespeople can confidently sell Legacy brand products and know they will be available for immediate fulfillment. After all, it's tough to make a sale when your customer hears they have to wait 8 to 12 weeks to get their products. As a Legacy dealer, you have access to the widest variety of in-stock products and largest selection of in-stock finishes in the game room industry.
Hello, I'm Chris Gould, President of Legacy Billiards. I invite you to contact us today to learn more about our BCA specials and 2020 new products, including a new 9-foot rustic Baron shuffleboard, new amazingly priced 7 and 8-foot Baron billiard tables, and an outdoor shuffleboard table called the Emery that will blow you away.
I think I'll start my seminar right now by talking about the new normal is uncomfortable for us and for understanding that sometimes things don't work out exactly the way that you supposed. You know, we practice, we do things, and then things like we do our business every single year and COVID hits and boom, our business is, you know, it changes dramatically. So, okay, let's go to, and this is the second slide here. We're going to talk about adversity. How about that? We're going to talk about how we started with the conversation that stores today have to take a new business model. And the answer is, what do you need to do to make your store more effective. And I am positive I've met most of you. I understand. I've been to the show. I know what is comfortable is to go and meet your friends in Las Vegas and see everybody and understand that we are, still we're a community, we're a network. And the reality is we can't do that right now, but also think about your customers and think about how they have had to change and they've had to pivot. And the one thing that I would say to you is in our industry, they have pivoted towards our products. And I was talking to Rob and Shane in the office last week as we were preparing, and we were talking about businesses that had seen huge increases in sales. This had happened because they were prepared, and what the new word of the day is they had pivoted. And then there were stores that were sort of hoping for the best and doing things the same way and didn't get a great result. So what I want to share with you today is some ways that you can move forward, that you can add new products, add new services. And what I would say to you is the adversity piece is what we all have to deal with. And it is uncomfortable and it is sticky, but that makes it even more valuable at the end. And if I were to meet you in person, we would be, I'm going to show you my face for most of this, because if we're together in person, if you've met me before, I'm telling a joke, I'm making you smile, I'm asking you questions, I'm making eye contact. And while I may not be physically in front of you, I am. And this is our new normal. This is what we're going to have to do for the time being. I don't want to scare any of you, but I also want to make you understand in some cases, we may be in this phase for the new normal because customers may want to shop differently. Let's talk for a second about where we're going to go today. On slide 3, you see here, your businesses, some of you are selling the same products. Some of you have been able to increase your product assortment. Some of you have increased your service offering. Some of you have pivoted and have added additional delivery methods. And some of you have improved your marketing to deliver those messages. I want to make sure that all of you get the idea of what you can do and what is possible. Some of you have some of this implemented and some new ideas, so others are still sort of walking your way through. So let's talk about how to do that. So if we can move on to slide 4, let's talk about what are the product offerings you can add to your assortment. And when I say product or assortment, if people are at home in the time of COVID, as many of us are, with smaller group of people, what does that mean? Yes, you can put in, a billiard table, and that's amazing, and everybody will love that. But what about new indoor games? What about table games, shuffleboard, ping pong? I rock Legacy at the beginning, right? Their new 9-foot shuffleboard table. What about pinball machines? What about darts? What is home entertainment today? Is karaoke home entertainment? What about video gaming? Many of us do video gaming, but what about furniture, decor, making home gaming space in your game rooms? Do you sell any of those products? We'll talk about new delivery methods. Could you partner with anybody to sell those products? Do you do home game room decor? Do you offer signage? Obviously, most of you probably offer lighting for over a pool table, but is that it? Do you offer seating? Do you offer any other stand-up lighting? Do you offer any what I would call decor, pictures, vases, other small coffee tables, things like that? What about family board games, group board games? And that's inside. We talk about other product, right? As we move from, summer, and we're in the midst of it now. And so do we have any outdoor capability? Things like cornhole, things like lawn darts, things like outdoor shuffleboard, ways to entertain. And the new word maybe some of you have heard is the bubble. How many people do you have in your bubble? That's my family is sort of quarantining with your family. So there's 6 of us. So we can all be together and the kids can hang out and have a pool in the backyard. That's still not a reason that you can't be indoors and outdoors together. So the question is, how many ideas have you brought forth? Have you expanded your product assortment? You're at a trade show. Many of these people will be here this week. You should talk to them. How do you bring this product in? And you can see here, my view of that is to maybe you flat out want to carry these products and you're thinking it's a long-term investment. That's great. You have a virtual appointment, you look at these people who are at the show and you buy products and you bring them in. Maybe you want to test some of them. Maybe it's I want to bring in some, but I think others would work. There are many avenues for retailers today to partner with manufacturers. And that is a direct model. That is you buy from them, they ship you directly and it's on your selling floor, it's on your website, and you fulfill the orders from your store. Another one would be that you partner with vendors and get a direct shipping concept. And that could be a negotiation on carrying some products in store and then expanding the product offering to a web-only atmosphere. That could get shipped directly from their warehouse under the banner of your store and your invoice when you ship. Consignment is another way. I want to expand my offerings. I'm not sure my customer, how they feel about it. And again, I know in a lot of our seminars, we have people who come and who are on the, what do you call it, on the manufacturer side. We have people who sit in this seminar who are manufacturers. So for both of you, whether you're a retailer looking to get models that are expanding just beyond the I order from you and you ship me, if you are a manufacturer and you are attending the show, why don't you partner with some of the retailers out there, understanding that they are going to be in this all together for a long time? How do we make this better for all of us? So are there consignment methods that you could work with them on? Could you work with a virtual event? I have set up for many of my stores in the last 90 days what I call a virtual trade show. And that is you set up like this, a GoToWebinar, a Zoom, a FaceTime, a Facebook Live event where you showcase products directly in your showroom, in your store, and you work with your customers online. They order directly, you answer questions, you showcase that. In your cases, maybe you play on those, maybe you talk about the features and benefits, maybe you have a rep from the company on the call as well. And then you set up a show special, some sort of activity that goes on only during this event. People order during this event, pricing is for this event only, and then it gets shipped directly afterwards. In-home delivery as an option that you offer as a retailer, as a way of saying thanks for participating, perhaps in-home setup as another tool, and maybe some sort of like a billiard kit that goes with that, some cues, some balls. So you can still provide the same activities and the same sales activity that you do directly when your front door is open online, exactly like we're doing this webinar with you today, exactly like all of you. When I saw you 2 years ago and I begged you all to please move to an online model, to please add some more marketing, to please connect with your customers digitally. Doesn't mean you didn't want to, didn't think I was a nice person, but you weren't ready for it. Well, COVID came and in a lot of cases made us have to be ready for it. So now it's time to expand the horizons, set up your stores in different ways, communicate with your vendors, set up different models to have different methods of product in store, online only, virtual events only, to expand your product offering for your customers. If we can move on to slide 6 right now, that's talking about different products. And many of you have service offerings, and most of your service offerings obviously are to come and set up my pool table in my pool room, and maybe now they need to be relocated. Do you offer set up in other locations? Maybe you're moving it from indoors to outdoors for the summer season. Maybe people bought an outdoor table, but if they didn't, I have plenty of people I was talking to when I was getting ready for this that are talking about moving, setting up tents in their backyard because they wanted to be outside. So again, set up, relocate to another room. You sell home decor. This is one of my old clients. They're in London, Ontario. I don't know if the Sanders people are here today, but they have a designer on staff. She happens to be also double as their store manager, but she's got a degree in interior design. So when someone buys a pool table, they offer design services, paint recommendations, color recommendations. They sell decor that go with that. So could you offer design services for new space? Maybe you don't have to have this person in-house. Maybe you partner with a design company and say, I'll collaborate with you, we'll get you customer leads, we'll come up with a pricing for, you know, our customers specifically, so it's a flat fee for service, and, you know, they buy the products through their website. So there's ways to think about it. The key that I want to communicate to you at every step of the way today is understanding how your customers' needs have changed. And yes, they might have always needed a pool table from you, and that's what you gave them. Well, now they may not be able to get to a furniture store. Maybe, you know, you're allowed to stay open because, you know, you're a bit more essential than they are. Maybe they don't, you know, maybe they want to get it all done in one space and location. So maybe they want to stay home completely, and by you offering virtual services, they're choosing to come to your business instead of a furniture store. So again, I'm going to keep reiterating, it is about your customers and how they have adapted to COVID retail, COVID consuming of goods and services. And more than ever, I've said this to you again and again, and I will continue, it's not just COVID, it's how they've adapted. We'll talk about post-COVID in the next couple of sessions we do this week, but this could be a new mindset because your customers find it more convenient. What else can you do? How about education, teaching parties, one-on-one play, video lessons? Some of you, if you're game room, you know, on here, we'll talk about that as an easy way. I put up this picture here because I want you to understand, if a piano teacher can Skype and FaceTime lessons, right, with a child that is 5 to an adult who is 65 or 85, there must be a way for you and your billiard business to communicate. It is a one-on-one interaction with a community of people. And that's what you have to think about. What am I really doing here? I am offering a service to a one-on-one community of people. Whereas I might have done it broadly before, I might not have done it at all. I was online a few weeks ago, and one of cohorts here in this group was doing Facebook Live, and they had one person in their game room, and they were talking about shots and helping people understand how to do that more effectively. So it is possible. The question is it something you want to engage with? So we talked about products. Let's move on here to the next slide. Talk about besides products, besides services. I want to take a poll here, and I'm not sure, Mike, if we're going to be able to get the poll up here. But right now, all of you should be able to answer this poll. How many different ways do you, Mike, I don't know if you can launch the poll, but how many different ways do you currently, do you currently offer customers to shop at your billiard home leisure business? 1 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 plus. Think about ways that you can sell products to your customer. And answer this from whatever perspective you're in. You could, obviously a retailer here is what we're really talking about. If you're a manufacturer, you'll have a little bit different answer than this. Give you about 10 more seconds to answer. How many different ways can your customers currently shop with or at your billiard and home leisure business? Okay, you entered? Okay, let's publish the results here. %57 of you have 1 to 2 ways your current customers shop with you. 3 to 5, 43%, and nobody has more than 6. Okay, I'm going to pleasantly surprise some of you because I bet you have more than you think. It is how you think. Most of you in that 1 to 2 say, my front door opens, and maybe some of you have a website. That would be your second one. Now let's go back to the presentation. So most of you, it's 1 to 2. In the day of, if we go to the next slide here, what I want to talk about in terms of COVID, and not just COVID, but future methodologies. 1 to 2 in store. And yes, some of you, I put it out here for you, like the good old days, right? People walk in my front door. But do people call? Do people email you? Do people text you? Most of you in the 1 and the 2 probably have more ways than you think of. Why I'm making a point here is it is critical that you, as owners of your businesses, think about every possible channel, and then your job during your marketing activity is to communicate that with your customers. So yes, and online. In the case of COVID, our new store hours are modified: 11 to 5, 12 to 6, Tuesday through Saturday, Wednesday through Sunday. You need to communicate your store hours as they change. Maybe I've had to roll back. I'm in a state that is pulling back. Maybe I'm in a state that's opening up, right? So you got to keep your customers constantly informed of what your store hours are. You can't get a hold of us because the store's only open from 11 to 5. You can call us. We are open. We will be here between 9 and 6. You can email us, go to our website, look at our products, email us, text us, set up a virtual shopping appointment. If your store is closed and you cannot sell out the front door, then start thinking about how can I sell out what I call the back door. Set up a virtual shopping appointment. Right now, if you had a FaceTime, open, and you and I were on GoToWebinar, we could set up an hour-long meeting. You could be live in your store. I could be sitting in my game room space talking to you about what it looks like, about how much space I have, about what my needs were, in the same way that we were talking when I walked into your store location. It would be exactly the same. A virtual shopping appointment via FaceTime, via Skype, via GoToWebinar, Instagram Live, via your camera, your regular Google applications, your Google Live, your Instagram Live, an at-home shopping appointment in this day of one-on-one, right? Maybe you can have 15 people, but you can't have one person who is socially distanced, wearing a mask, who can assess the space, who can just have the same conversation with you, who may be able to bring an online catalog and discuss with you what we could put in this space. Obviously your website, which offers home delivery. Another option is buying online, picking up in store. BOPIS is what that's called, right? We're going to talk a little bit today about a Facebook shop, putting your best items on a Facebook selling platform. Instagram, the same thing. Instagram shoppable posts and shoppable stories. And then messenger services. Some of you may be thinking, this is all beyond me. If you have an Instagram page, if you have a Facebook page, the only thing that may be out of your reach today is a messenger app, which isn't actually out of your reach. It's that you're not comfortable with it. But Facebook Messenger, where you reply to people, your Facebook page for your billiard business could have an auto reply Facebook message set up every single day. If a customer had a question, it would be automatically set up to say, thanks for calling, thanks for checking in, or thanks for sending us a message. We'll get right back to you. So messaging services are much easier than you would think to use, and absolutely possible for your business to use. I say websites, most of you have a website. The question is it a selling website? So that may take a little bit of time. But how does your website function? What does it look like today? You can put 6 tables up on your Facebook shop. You could put up 15 tables on an Instagram story with pictures of or videos of a table and sell that way every single day if you set up a Facebook shop. So let's talk on the next slide about how to do that. Because again, it's not about you and I having a conversation. It's really not about understanding. It's about understanding, I should say, how your customers want to do business. Social media usage in the time of COVID is up more than 200%. That may be because people are working from home. They have more time to surf the internet. How is your billiard or home leisure business taking advantage of that? How are you maximizing the eyes on the screen for your billiard business in 2020 and frankly beyond? And I'm not sure, sorry, if you can get these. Actually, I can touch my screen. So maybe some of you, if you're on a device, you could expand your screen. But if you were to think about ways to improve your business, besides the different methods we talked about, online and omni-channel, going to the website, going to social media, what else can you do? Can you integrate payments more effectively? How can you make it easier to purchase? In today's day and age, does your business take Apple Pay? Somebody buy via a text from you and pay you via Apple Pay or pay you via PayPal with a credit card. and never having used your POS system at your store, if your website didn't integrate with your POS system. So all of you have the capability to take multiple forms of retail engagements with your customers, as well as payment channels. Personalization. There is nothing more personal than Lynn talking to Shane, Lynn talking to Rob about what he might want in, or his family might want in their pool room via a virtual shopping appointment. We get all of you on our Facebook page, on our Instagram page. And the key here is that because more people are online, because more people are using it, I use this proactive customer service, this 24-hour cycle that we're in. Many people, sadly, aren't sleeping well these days. Lots more shopping. Typically, shopping was done at 12 o'clock midnight. The shift has changed. There's more shopping being done in the overnight hours, 12 to 4. People can't sleep. They go online. They search. They scour. How often are you putting content on your social media pages that your customers can find to sell them products for their billiard and home leisure needs? Okay, let's go to the next slide here. Perfect. I'm just going to keep expanding it. I don't know if that changes for you guys, but so how do you do this? So let me help you with some modeling here. Many of you have a model. Customer opens the front door, they come in your shop, somebody greets them, says hello, and starts talking to them about what they might need. What are you doing here? That not possible today. Maybe it is, but in a limited version, limited hours. How can you and your business meet more people? Do you have the capability? Remember that virtual online appointment that I was talking about? Do you have a model where your salespeople are integrated digitally with your customers? And by that, I mean, would you be better served having some of your salespeople, and I appreciate we'll get to the conversation about them not being trained, capable yet, but should you have a salesperson that is focused on digital customer sales? Sales that come in through your website, sales that come in through leads via your social media pages, via your Instagram, via your Facebook. That starts with having somebody on your team who can create content, who can then put the content out there, who can answer questions, who can answer, comments, who can communicate with customers because they've sent a message that says, I'd like to talk to you, who can make virtual selling appointments. If I could, who could host this one here, if you could host a Zoom customer event, whether that's fun or educational. Do you have a group of customers that every year you have a great customer anniversary party, VIP party? Move that event to a Zoom event and have it host. You be there, have your best customers there, have your salespeople there as a selling, opportunity, just like you would if they were in your store. Assign a sales quota. Many of you, or I don't know if all of you do, but some of you, I should say, probably have salespeople that have a quota. An in-store quota, how much do you want to sell? Maybe some of you don't. Could you assign, if you do, could you assign a sales quota to this digital person, just like you do to a regular in-store salesperson? The reason I say that is that your job is to encourage social commerce. Encourage customers to buy from you online or via your website, right? Via your social media channels, via virtual tools. And the only way you're going to make that a priority is for you to call your virtual business and your website store 2. So if you had store 2 and the front door was open to store 2 in the morning, now this store happens to be open 24 hours a day, but there has to be somebody managing the store and communicating with people and answering questions. And the big shift is getting all of you on this call to think about that shift and to understand that our customers need talking to, right? Just like they need it in the store, they need you to be able to communicate with them and say, how can we help you? What can we do? Walk you through the sales process, communicate with you about customer service afterward. And so my recommendation, I have a great digital salesperson job description. Shoot me a message on the Whova app and I will send it to anyone who wants it. But again, it starts with all of you in this room and in this session thinking about how to do that. We could go to the next slide there. Okay. Perfect. Another thing I want you to think about, some of you probably have partaken in some of this personally. Have you been to the grocery store? For those of you that are older, a little bit older, have you been to the grocery store before it opens or in early hours for your customers because you feel more comfortable with less people shopping? How about your store? If you have an older clientele, if your store is still open and you're able to bring people in, do you communicate the message that you have that you have hours that you're only open for certain people, or make a special appointment that you are the only person in the store? Many of you might have done this. If you haven't, communicate to your customers. Call us, we will set up a special hour where you are the only one in the store. Everybody can get treated like a VIP. Store to yourself. Shop around, low impact, right? One-on-one, mask, very safe, very secure. Close when they leave, clean up, you know what I mean? Sanitize, then open your doors for customers. Like I said, reservations or special shopping hours. And again, curbside pickup. One of my clients has they call it a customer bar. And when the store is not open, so they only have certain shopping hours, they set up a bar, and essentially it's a table that's at the front door that they get people's orders for them. They limit the number of people in the store because they're still setting up, because they're sanitizing. But if somebody needed a cue or chalk or a rack of balls or some sort of, dart equipment or something that could be managed via the bar, that's how they do the sale. So again, specific selling approaches for ordering and delivery that help your customers. And I know you're all customer service friendly, but this is the ultimate health and well-being customer safety tactic that we could put into place right now. Here's the key. If you have been doing this, or frankly, you're shaking your head saying, I can do all of this, the key is communicating via your marketing messages that you are able to do it. So let's keep going here and talk about ways to communicate that via marketing. And I apologize, we're going to run over a little bit because we didn't get started late. Rob, that's okay? All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Apparently. Okay, great. So social commerce is here to stay. So I want to talk to you about all the ways that you can communicate with your customers. And again, those 6+ that any of you were like, how is that possible? Here's 4 of them right here. Setting up a Facebook shop, selling from an Instagram post, or setting up linking to an Instagram story, or setting up via a messenger. In 2020, the growth of social commerce, which is selling via social media, is 25%. That's just in the last 4 months. The expected impact on the market, meaning when will this normalize and sort of go to a stable place, is not for another year. This is going to continue to grow at warp speed for another year. I'm just going to ask you one more time. I've asked you 100 times before, but please, please, can you think about a Facebook shop? If you don't know what I'm talking about, while you're hang up from this call, when you finish or when you're done with this, setting up a Facebook shop, Google it. It is so simple, and then allows you to post on Instagram, tag products on your Instagram pages, and sell via your Instagram page. Sell via any of your links and your other social tools. Really, really simple. So let's go on here to the next slide. Okay, thanks. So a Facebook shop, and again, this is a table, but are there things that you can put in your Facebook shop? Things like, maybe you have a table that's really easy to install. Maybe you've added some of those new products that I mentioned earlier on that are specifically based for outdoor. They're smaller size, they're convenient, easy to set up and take down. Those are perfect things to put on your Facebook. Can ship in a box. Cues, what do you call it? Chalks, balls, materials, repair materials, new felts, things that your customer knows what they need already. What I call those never outs. What do I need to get always that I'm driving by, I say, oh, I ran out of this. I'm done with it. I need it. Think of the things that are never out, that you don't ever want your customers to not be able to get from you. Those are great items to try on your Facebook shop. And then link it to your Facebook page. You'll be able to link it to your Instagram page. That make playing easier every single day. Here's the other thing. A couple of tables for sure, your best-selling tables, your most in-stock tables, things that you can get very easily, dartboards, shuffleboards, ping pong, things that are pretty easy to understand, outdoor cornhole games. Why? Because again, when your viewership on social media is up in the plus 3 digits, plus 150, 200%, you may meet new customers. And yes, I know you think we've been here for 20 years. I've met everybody in town. I can promise you haven't. If I haven't wanted to buy a billiard table for my house, I haven't looked for you online. I haven't looked you up in the directory. Now that I want home entertainment, home leisure materials, and I'm online talking to my friends about, can I get a good pool table? I'm actually up talking to you today from Maine, and where we are for the summer. And we're on what I call a local Bar Harbor. It's called Barter and Swap, where people say, where can I get this? I'm selling this. And I cannot tell you in the last month that I've been here, how many people say, does anybody where can I get a pool table? I need a ping pong table. Anybody have any dartboards? Where can I get this? And all it is a forum for where can I buy things and materials. And trust me, if you had a pool, even if you were a member of that page and you had a billiard business, you sold online, you could go in there and then post and say, you're in Portland, Maine, if you're in New England at all, you could say, we have these things, we can ship them to you. Here's a link to our Facebook shop. So really easy to understand the features and benefits of what you sell via online tools with a Facebook shop. So now let's move on and talk about Instagram for a second. Excuse me. On the next slide here, we talk about Instagram. If you are not using Instagram, I am just going to flat out tell you, we'll talk about 5 tips as I promised in the minute here. But Instagram is the most up-and-coming social media tool out there for you. There's 2 ways to sell. A, you post on your Instagram page, and this particular Instagram page gives you an idea. There's 3 different methods here. This is a men's shoe company, but the white boxes on the far left post is a tag. Tag my product on your page and you can buy it directly from Instagram. So you want to sell that pool table, that pool cue, you want to link somebody to a pool business, you can do it directly from your Instagram page. Your customer will see a product description, an image, how much it costs, right? And then a direct link to your Facebook page. You can link it directly to your website if you want. It's called Shoppable Posts. Very, very easy to do. That's a post. It's one picture, it's one video, and your customer can click on it and take an action. The next post is a shoppable story, which is a series of pictures or videos. We can go to the next slide here, that talk about how to, if you've seen stories, they're all linked. And the idea is, a swipe. Many of you have probably heard that, swipe up for more. So that's an Instagram story. Here's the key to an Instagram story. It stays for 24 hours and then it's gone. I can give you live data about this. One of my customers has somebody who they use, they're an influencer, somebody who loves their business, who just loves to talk about it. She has 15,000 Instagram followers. She posted a story about products that my client had on an Instagram story. It was up for 24 hours. And then my client called me to tell me they could watch the sales come in. This influencer has eyes on her post. They watch for her new stories. And as soon as the post went up, for the next 24 hours, they sold 500 units of an $80 item. Just because it was an Instagram story, it was done with an influencer. So yes, if you're not on Instagram, that will not happen to you overnight. You will not sell 500 pool tables. You need to get involved in Instagram, you need to get shoppable, you need to get stories out there, you need to get content out there, but it is real and it works. It is a viable shopping option. Let's go to the next slide here. So Instagram shoppable post, feed shoppable stories. Let me just give you what makes a good Instagram post, what makes a good social media post, right? A call to action. If you saw in those previous posts, it said swipe up for content. Make sure you're telling people to do something. Click on this post today and receive 10% off, 15% off, a free setup, in-home delivery. Just like these show specials that you're going to see through the Hoove app, do something and get something. What can your business do? What can your business give? Use hashtags, right? When I say make people give you their money, ask them for something, use an enticing photo, use an enticing video, right? Promote your products, promote why your business, why your billiard home leisure business is the only place to shop now. It is safe for older people. We have special shopping hours for you. We know you're worried, shop here. We will come to your house with a mask and do a virtual home fitting or a home shopping appointment. We will do an online, walkthrough in our store with you. Give people all these, we clean 5 times a day. We use static cleaning material. Whatever you do to make your business safe, we are offering a new product line. That is making people give you their money. I know most of you have probably shifted already and started to do these things. The question is, how are you telling people about it? This digital salesperson that I'm talking, if their job comes from getting leads, I can promise you they will always be talking about how you can shop with us. Oh, did you know that we have this? We just added new items to our Facebook shop. We just put up an Instagram story. Go look for it. We send an email out with a link to our Instagram story, connecting our old traditional customers with our social media posts. Let's go to the next slide here. Okay, so these are just, I'm going to save this for, let's skip this slide, but know that there's ways that you can, all these tools, if you're not on Instagram, come back to this. These are all tools that will help make your Instagram post stories even better. And I wanted to make sure that you just had a lot of content for you to take home with you. Next slide. We talk about, this is where, in our session description, we talked about 5 really great ideas to help you. I'm giving you, you say, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what to do. 5 easy starts to your Instagram posts, to your Instagram stories. You can certainly use it on your Facebook pages as well. How to and tutorials. Teach them how to do something. Sharing user-generated content. Let's go to the next one. And by that, I mean, if you have a social media lover who absolutely is really loves your content, we go to the next slide, and shares your posts, share their posts. That's a great story. Behind the scenes post and story ideas, right? What does it look like behind when we get new product in? Time sensitive offers. One more here. I'm just trying to whip through these because they're here and they'll be on your app here. Special announcements, like what's more fun? Playful tactics to generate buzz. Okay, I understand it is a challenging time with COVID and that we are all sort of, if you will, balancing that between business, it's not business as usual, but trying to make sure that we keep some sense of normalcy, some sense of understanding, like Rob started this session today, wishing you and your family's health and well-being. Obviously, that's critical to everybody. But in some way, your job, because they're reaching out to you, because they're coming into your business already, they're walking in, they're telling you, they're giving you permission. They're reading your social media posts, they're giving you permission to sell them in a conscious way. So, it's not like making a cartoon graphic about, making a joke about COVID. Some of you, I know a lot of you, I'm all worried about my friends in Texas. Obviously, there's real things going on there in whatever state you're in, North Carolina, Florida, across the country. So you have to be aware and recognize that, and thinking about people and telling people very much like I'm talking to you today with a direct outreach. Thank you. I'm thinking about you. I want you to know we appreciate your business. We will be here, as we are doing as many things as we can to take care of our customers and our staff. That is a very, very heartfelt message from you as owners of your business. We can go on to the next slide. That'd be great. So make sure that you have those. But in the meantime, and put that on social media, put that on your Instagram, put that on your Facebook. we have to move forward. And, you know, we're going to move forward, and all of us, we're going to deal with sort of what we have today. If there's a, you know, a second wave and what that looks like, and if we're shut down again, how are you going to, I think as consumers, right? How have you adapted? Have you bought more than you ever have before? Have you thought about things buying online? Are you buying online? If you are as a person, how are you moving your store to that next space? And that's really what I want to be able to help you with. The key to this session title in that home entertainment is hip again, is that we have a commodity right now that, you know, and I know there's some of you in the pool room business and that is tough, but, you know, we can come up with ways to connect with that community. But for those of you that own brick and mortar stores, and how do we communicate that being in this home entertainment business and that being able to service a customer that can have 2 couples over, that can have 4 couples over, that can do, you know, socially distanced outdoor entertaining, and that your business has the products to serve them that customer need, is how you need to communicate with them right now, because it may go on for another year. So if you haven't shifted your model yet, how are you going to do that? How can the BCA, how can I help you partner with the manufacturers here? How can the vendors who you're going to meet with, you know, the manufacturers that you're going to meet with at this show, do that with you and for you? So with that, I'm going to turn it back over, unless Mike, you maybe there were questions that came in. I don't know, Rob, if you want to jump in and say anything, but I'm going to be here all week. You can ask me any questions. Certainly in the app, if we have time for some questions today. I know we're a little bit over, so let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, I think we have some time for some questions, Lynn. So I'll go ahead and
Okay.
I'll put those in the chat area as I ask them to you. What is the best chat function for websites?
So a lot of people integrate some Google apps there. I don't build sites, so depending on, essentially, let me give you the website trajectory today. For having a good website that is available, there's 2 methods, right? I either have what I call a browse website, which doesn't have any shopping capability, but there are plenty of what I would call chat bots that go into websites. I would tell you, work with your website developer. It's called a chat bot. I don't actually build websites. Having a chat is definitely critical. You can use, a lot of people I'm starting to see now actually integrate Facebook Messenger to their websites, which I think is a really cool, because again, you're trying to get social activity. So that may be something. I know in my particular, mine was built off of Squarespace. My client used one off of Wix recently, and that worked really well. But why I'm hedging is I don't build them. So it has to integrate with your website, which also has to integrate with your POS system, so that your inventory, if you want it to be live and in real time, that may be your deciding factor of which chats work best in each website. Makes sense?
Well, and I'll say something on it. This is Rob. Shane
Yep.
and I have been working. Shane and I have worked extensively on this as well. And so Shane and I will put out we researched a lot of vendors, and we'll put out a list after this call of 5 or 6 vendors that do the chat function, and we'll post that for people to take a look at.
Perfect.
Awesome. And then I think of it, attendee answered also, and we can share that as well. They said that they use Broadly. It's amazing because it allows them to use Google review requests. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
I am very familiar with Google review requests, and I have heard of Broadly. And let me be clear, many of you probably took my review seminar a few sessions ago. Absolutely, anything that links to a Google function, such as reviews, that then could post to multiple platforms, highly recommend. Spread the word across as many platforms as you can get, absolutely.
Okay, and then we have another question. It is, why should I change my methods when COVID is over? Should we just go back to doing business as usual?
If I could drop my iPad and get on the ground and beg you all to please move forward now. We have been thrust to this. I know many of you went kicking and screaming, okay? And to say I have to adapt short term, no, here's the key. Customers are going to like the idea that they can interact with their favorite businesses from their living room couch. And if your billiard business doesn't adapt, or your home business doesn't adapt, you're going to get left in the dust. You know, many more opportunities, because your customer is going to like the convenience. I know that we say that, and I said that before, that, you know, that you were all of you didn't believe me when I said that 18 to 35-year-olds were sitting on their couch shopping, and they had their iPad open and they had the phone on while listening to, you know, maybe they had the TV on, but they had 3 screens open shopping at the same time. And you all shook your heads at me and said, don't they have anything better to do? Well, guess what? Now the 45-year-old, now the 55-year-old is doing the exact same thing. They are working from home because their office is closed. So they are on their phone. They are using Zoom. Zoom has become remember when a Band-Aid is actually an adhesive strip, but we all call them Band-Aid today because that's, they were in the business. Set up a Zoom call. Zoom is an app. Any app like a GoToWebinar is a teleconferencing, feature. So it is going to be new in our lexicon. Set up new Zoom calls with your customers, set up Zoom chat. 90% of your customers will know or have the app already downloaded. So when you say we're doing a live party, a Zoom, room party to celebrate our 15th anniversary, and everybody will log in. I did a seminar the other day. There were 600 people logged in to a live webinar. I don't know what the final numbers are. This one are going to be. There were hundreds registered. It is new in our world. It is how people are going to shop. It is how they're going to behave afterwards. So do not go back, go forward. People will not be walking into stores. They might be scared. Let me be honest. For a while, they're going to be scared. Beyond that, it's convenient. Okay, I'm off the soapbox, but can you tell how passionate I am? Consumers will not be going gently into the night and just sort of going back to Main Street. They will not be working in offices, in downtown urban areas. How are you going to deal with your best customers? If you're in an urban area and the business is shut down, I don't want you to go out of business. I want you to maintain your customers. I want you to be really convenient for the people in the suburbs. So I don't want you to go back to normal. This is our new moving forward, our new pivot. How about that?
Perfect, thank you. Again, as a reminder to the attendees, if you do have any questions, please type it into the question box and we'll get to them. We do have a couple more. Next question is, which selling tactic should I employ first?
Quickly, I would say to you, the quickest payback you're going to get is to set up a Facebook shop, because that will allow you then to Instagram. So when I say set up a Facebook shop, I employ setting up selling through social media, setting up through Facebook. Doesn't have to be necessarily a shop, but it has to be a place people can go to get products from you. And the easy thing, the Facebook shop, you can certainly link it if your website is up and going. Obviously, you can link all the social media posts directly there. But my assumption in a lot of cases is that many do not have a selling platform via a website. So that sales tactic of selling on social media, social commerce, will be the quickest way for you to get, if you will, modern in a hurry. Think of it this way: a how-to tutorial on a shop, on setting up something, on game room decor, on the rules of darts. Any of these things could be a quick how-to tutorial on a video, which you posted on your Facebook page, which you posted in a series of Instagram stories, which then led to links through your Facebook shop of buying the dartboard, buying the dart surround, buying a couple of different types of dart, a how-to book that you also sell. All those things because you have a how-to tutorial, which got people engaged, and then you link them to purchase those things. have somebody in your door answer somebody back or chat with somebody live during the event, even more perfection.
All right. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions. Again, I will remind attendees, if you want to go to the app, you can ask questions to the speaker via that. Now I can turn it back over to Rob to conclude the session.
Well, I just wanted to end. Thanks, Lynn. And I just want to thank everybody.
Absolutely.
Thanks for your patience. We're getting going. We're learning as well, like Lynn said. And we will edit out the beginning where you had to stare at my mug, and we will post this. And again, you know, if you've got extra questions, we will respond to these questions and post them. And if you have additional questions, please let us know. A couple other things. Make sure you get on tomorrow's seminar. It's a really important seminar for this industry, and it's about mitigating risk during COVID. We've had a lot of questions, Shane and I, at the office about what are my liabilities, what are my risks if somebody comes in my retail store and gets COVID, or what do I have to do and what do I have to worry about? Same thing as a pool room. What do I have to do to try to get open? What do I have to do to meet the guidelines? And we have two lawyers tomorrow. They're going to give you a lot of guidance on ways to find the information that you need to be able to operate legally safely in this environment. And they'll give you some tips and place resources where you should look. And so please get involved and come be part of that webinar. I've watched them. They're very good at what they do, and it's very good information. It does not matter what industry you're in. You need to pay particular attention to this, and they're very good at that. You need to please go to the exhibitor profiles and take a look. We saw through the rebate program last year how much purchasing goes on the floor, and it's a lot. And our exhibitors have taken the time to put coupons and giveaways on their profiles. They've also done videos. And so take a look at those. There's ways to save money this week, just like any BCA Expo, and take advantage of the opportunities. And the last thing I would ask you is there's a community button on this app. And so take a look at the community button. There's a meetup, and we already have one in the dart industry. And it's a meetup that turns into a Zoom call, and it's a group that's going to talk about issues that the dart industry is facing. And if you have an issue you want to talk about, something that Lynn talked about today, learn more about Instagram, learn more about what chatbot you should use, do that through a meetup, and you can post that in the community. There's so many people registered for this, and we're all learning how to do it. Take the time to get involved and take advantage of this program. And again, tomorrow at the same time, we'll have Colin Walker and Michelle Fields talking about mitigating the risk during COVID. So thank you for participating today, and we'll see you tomorrow.